Hey everyone, it's Miranda. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey for the first time, why don't you subscribe? Become the newest member of the Slashed Squad. Here I review products you won't feel guilty buying and do looks you can actually recreate at home. I'm really excited to make this video because it has to do with something that I'm asked about probably most often when it comes to like DMs on social media. I tend to get a lot of questions about kind of how to put together a beginner's makeup kit at the drugstore. Whether you're just starting out with makeup or maybe you want to revamp your entire collection on a budget, I get questions about, what's the best product in each category to pick up at the drugstore. So that's why I'm making this video today. I have curated a beginner's makeup kit with all drugstore products featuring some of my absolute favorite items ever. So if you want to know what my picks are to create a beginner's makeup kit at the drugstore, just keep watching. Okay, so first let's talk about primers, which are used to extend the wear time of your makeup. If you've watched my channel for a while, then you know that my favorite eye primer is literally $1 from e.l.f. It's the e.l.f. Shadow Lock Eyelid Primer. They do have different versions of this. There is one that is white that has shimmer in it, but I prefer the sheer version. It looks very natural underneath shadow and really lets the shadow speak for itself. And basically, when you just get down to it, the bottom line is it works and it's $1, so why spend more? For the face, the drugstore primer that I've actually been using a lot lately is the Catrice Prime and Fine Pore Refining Anti-Shine Primer. This is an oil-free mattifying primer that gives you shine control throughout the day underneath your makeup, so especially in my T-zone where I tend to get most oily, when I use this, I don't have to worry so much about that shine coming throughout the day. It also helps hide my pores underneath my foundation a little bit better, and in general, gives my foundation a good wear time. Speaking of foundation, my absolute favorite at the drugstore is the L'Oreal Infallible Foundation. Now they have 3 different versions of this foundation, I believe now. My favorite is Pro Glow, which does give a glowy and radiant finish without feeling too dewy. They also have a Pro Matte version, which as the name suggests is a matte finish. And then they have a Total Coverage foundation, which is, as the name suggests again, a very full coverage foundation. However, I feel that the Pro Glow and the Pro Matte foundations already have so much coverage that I don't really need any more. And y'all know that I have acne and acne scarring, and this covers it right up. But as I said, the Pro Glow specifically does give me a really nice radiant finish without feeling dewy or wet on the skin. It also has SPF 15 for protection, and in general, I just love how this looks on my skin. It's a super lightweight feel, and even with the radiant finish, I feel like the coverage lasts all day on me. Next, let's talk about concealer. So the one that I always recommend when people ask what they should pick up at the drugstore is the NYX HD Studio Concealer. For one, it's $5 a tube, which is great on its own, but the formula is awesome too, and there's a pretty extensive shade range, so you will probably find something that is close to a skin match for you. They also have color correcting concealer, so the green one is the one that I use the most for helping conceal my acne underneath my foundation. But in general, this concealer is super lightweight while still offering about medium coverage, so you can use it in a lot of different ways. You can use it under the eyes without worrying about it sinking into the lines. You can use it to conceal zits. You can use it as a brightening concealer in the under eye area as well. So it's just a really good all-around concealer to use for anything you need to conceal. Next, let's talk about eyeshadow. So eyeshadow palettes have definitely gotten so much better at the drugstore over the past few years, and that is my suggestion if you are trying to build up your makeup collection from scratch or, revamping it. Grab a palette. Don't try to juggle singles. That's annoying, and palettes are also travel friendly. Whenever anyone asks me for an eyeshadow palette recommendation at the drugstore, I always mention the CoverGirl True Naked palettes. Now, I did do a review and little tutorial with the True Naked Nudes palette when it first came out a couple years ago. I will link that below. Just a heads up, this is the same product, but there is new packaging. So with CoverGirl's rebrand, they did put out new packaging of these palettes that have been around for a while now. The True Naked Nudes palette is a cool tone neutral palette. You have everything you need to make a ton of different looks. They did such a great job with the composition of this palette, not only with the shade range where you have the clear highlight shades, the clear lid shades, the clear liner / crease shades for definition, but this palette also has the perfect balance of shimmer and matte shades, which is something that for some reason is hard to find at the drugstore. Also, something that I love is that these shimmer shades are already really gorgeous and they swatch like a dream. However, if you want to apply them wet, they do end up having a reflective metallic finish, so that's really cool. My other favorite palette from the CoverGirl True Naked line is the Roses palette, which is clearly a rose gold leaning palette. So this color scheme is very on trend right now, so this is also a great option if you want to add something rosy to your makeup collection. Next, let's talk about eyeliners. So if you are looking for a pencil eyeliner, either for your lid or especially for tight lining, the one that I recommend is the L'Oreal Infallible beautiful long wear eye pencil. This goes on super jet black and it works really well in the waterline. It doesn't smudge or smear or disappear throughout the day. You can also get a really beautiful smoky effect with this if you want to smudge it on your upper or lower lash line, and once it's set, you can forget it. It will not budge all day, so it is really nice for those kind of messy looking, but you don't actually want them to be messy looks. For liquid liner, this is no surprise because I use it in basically every single video, and that is the NYX Matte Liquid Liner. This has been my absolute favorite liquid liner for several years now, not only because of the performance, because this is a liquid liner that will stay in place even though it's not marketed to be waterproof. I've never had issues with it coming in contact with water or sweat, but also I really like the matte effect. I like how deep it applies, and my favorite part is I love the applicator. So this liner is a fine brush tip applicator, which at first took a little bit of getting used to because I was previously using kind of the pen style liners. But once you get used to this, you won't be able to go back because this fine tip gives you so much more control when you are trying to create really defined like cat eyes or graphic liner looks too. But as cat eyes are my everyday look, this is my go-to for my signature, so this is what I trust. And again, it's like $4.99, best liner I've ever owned. Let's talk about brows. This is a hot topic on my channel because a lot of people like my brows, a lot of people don't like my brows. But my brows have gone through some things, y'all. Some of you who've been watching for a while, sometimes you comment and you're like, I remember the awkward brow phase. I know you do. I do too. It hurts. But I feel like I have finally gotten my brow look that looks the best on me down. If you disagree, I don't care. Even though this product is on the newer side, ever since it came out, I've been using it almost exclusively if I haven't run out. And it's also given me my absolute favorite brow look so far, and that is the CoverGirl Micro Fine and Define Eye Pencil. What is the full name? Because it is incredibly long. CoverGirl Easy Breezy Micro Fine Fill and Define Eyebrow Pencil. So this is an ultra fine brow pencil. You have a very thin tip, which helps you really create sharp definition of the brows, but also fill them in with natural looking strokes. I use the shade Soft Brown, which is like an exact match for my brows. I was very surprised. And of course, I love the fact that there is a spoolie on the other end so I can brush the color through the brows and kind of soften the look. My brow looks last when I have this on. Sometimes they'll fade kind of towards the inner corners because that's where I have the least amount of product, but in terms of the rest of the brow, they stay in place all day. And I just find it really easy and quick to use this product to get really defined and put together brows. All right, mascara. I am very picky with mascara because I have short and straight lashes. So I need something that's going to give me length and volume, but it can't be too heavy where it makes my eyelashes droop. My current absolute favorite mascara at the drugstore is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise Mascara. Probably not a surprise because this thing is a cult favorite. A lot of people have likened it to Too Faced Better Than Sex. I have tried Better Than Sex and I like this better, and it's cheaper. This is a thicker formula, but less is more, so you don't need to apply a lot to get a very big impact. I get very similar to false lash looking lashes when I use this without the struggle of putting on falsies. However, I do recognize that the effect is a little bit dramatic and some people may not want to wear that every day. So if you're looking for something a little bit more natural, I would suggest the CoverGirl Flourish by Lash Blast Mascara. This one has a comb brush, so you are gonna get a little bit more of that separating action. And while this definitely adds length and thickness to your lashes, it is more of a fluttery effect, so it looks a little bit more natural. Next, let's move on to contour and highlighting. So my absolute favorite contour product at the drugstore is the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster Palette in Matte. And funny enough, my favorite highlighting product at the drugstore is the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster Palette in Shimmer. So in the matte palette, we have 3 shades. We have a warm contouring shade, or you can also use this as a bronzer, a cool contouring shade, and then kind of like an eggshell shade, which you can use to set concealer or clean up any contour. Just depending on my look and the season, I'll go between the cool and warm contouring shades. A lot of the times I'll mix them to create more of a neutral look. So I did use it to contour today. I leaned a little bit more warm than I did cool because here it's still summer in Vegas, so I'm still feeling the warm face vibes. As for the shimmer palette, we also have 3 shades. We have a bright white highlighter, kind of a champagne-y, creamy highlighter, and then we kind of have have this warm bronzy shade. This is what it looks like. Here's what it looks like swatched. It's clearly too dark to highlight on my skin, but if you do have a deep skin tone, it might be a really good option. However, for those of you who you buy this and you're like, I could never use this to highlight with, you could definitely use this as an eyeshadow. So I'll go between the white and champagne highlighter. A lot of times, again, I'll mix them, and today I did mix them for this strobe effect. This is one of the most intense powder highlighters that I have found at the drugstore, and it does not look glittery, which is something that I don't like, but is very common with drugstore highlighters. You just get this beautiful, strong glow with very fine shimmer. So I absolutely love how this highlighter looks both in person and in photos. Now, I clearly apply it with a heavy hand because I love a strong highlight, but if you use more of a fluffy, flexible brush with these, then you can get more of a subtle look that will still make an impact. As for blush, this might also not be a surprise because it is one that has made many an appearance here on my YouTube channel, and that is the Milani Rose Powder Blush. It's such a classic from the brand. It's kind of their iconic product, and this blush is just gorgeous. Not only is it pigmented, but it lasts a long time, and even like the pattern on this, I've had this for years. I mean, like, I know it's expired, but I keep using it, and the flower's still there. This particular shade is Tea Rose. I am wearing it now. It is kind of like a medium pink. I also like Romantic Rose. I did wear this blush to my wedding because I just love the natural look that you can get with it, while it does add a beautiful just wash of pink over your cheeks. Now, everyone's favorite topic, lipsticks. Okay, so some of my favorite budget-friendly lipsticks are from e.l.f. They are the Day to Night Lipstick Duos. So these lipsticks each come with two shades that are complementary. They're in kind of the same shade family, but one is more subtle while one's a little bit more dramatic, so you can bring a look from day to night. I don't usually do that. Like, I don't switch up my lipstick throughout the day. However, I just like the convenience of these because you're only buying one product, but you're getting two shades. It's a great way to try out new shades, new trends, but also I love traveling with these because you get to pack less amount of product and still have a lot of variety. And that's the reason why they're great for beginners, because they let you have a lot of options without spending money on a bunch of different lipsticks. As far as liquid lipsticks, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the best at the drugstore at the moment are the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink Liquid Lips. I'm actually wearing one today. This is in the shade Lover, and yeah, these lipsticks go on and they won't come off. I have experienced the least amount of wear or fading or flaking when wearing these. Compared to other liquid lipsticks at the drugstore, these are the ones that are going to really perform like a high-end product. They do not move. Now, I will say there is a learning curve with these because it is a little bit of a thicker, sticky formula. So you want to apply in very thin layers to get it to dry down and set. If you apply too much, then you will be prone to smudging because it'll never really dry down right. But once I got the hang of them, I was like, oh my god, these are awesome. So when I need a lip that's gonna last all day without me having to worry about touching up or babysitting them or constantly checking to see, you know, if something migrated across my face, this is what I wear. Plus, they have a huge shade range. They just came out with like a completely nude and neutral shade range. They have bolder colors like this one. This is in the shade Believer, which is like a beautiful purple. So a lot of options with a great long-lasting color finish. All right, the last couple products to add to your beginner's makeup kit at the drugstore are your setting products. If your skin is on the more oily side or you live in an environment like that's humid and you feel like you get sweaty throughout the day, powder is probably the best way to go. This is the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Powder, one of my favorites at the drugstore because not only does it set your makeup, but it does come in different shades that adds just a little bit more coverage to your makeup. This is the shade Buff Beige, so it's kind of like my not tan skin. But yeah, it's just a very, very soft powder. It blends really easily over makeup without disturbing the finish, and it helps just get rid of oil. It helps your makeup stay in place and just kind of set everything in. If you're more of a setting spray person, the one that I use from the drugstore is the Physicians Formula Insta Ready Setting Spray. It's pretty straightforward, no bells and whistles. You just spray it on your face and your makeup will look good for hours. All right, everyone, those were my picks for a beginner's makeup kit from the drugstore. Even if you're not starting from scratch or redoing your collection, I hope that you at least found a few new products that you want to try. If you want more beginner-focused videos, please hit the thumbs up button and let me know what topics you want me to cover in the comments below. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, become a member of the Slashed Squad. If you've done that, high five, but have you turned notifications on? Click the bell so you know every time a new video goes live. If you don't turn on notifications, YouTube decides what's on your subscription page, not you. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!